Hello, folks. It's been a while, but I'm glad to see you again. Uh, I just got done with a feature film, so I decided now would be a time to break down the sandbag and give you guys a little channel update. So, why don't we do that? I guess just to fill you in on the prolonged absence, there were multiple things that kind of stacked on top of each other over these last couple years. In the good column, my daughter Casey was born, and she's been doing great. But a combination of learning later on in the pregnancy that Casey was going to be joining us, me having no experience whatsoever raising kids, made these first couple years a little bit interesting. But everyone's doing great. I'm doing great. Loving being a dad. I think the thing, though, was that it just felt like I never had the time. So, like, we moved into this new apartment here recently, and this is the first time since Casey was born that me and my wife had our own space again. So, it was very weird to, kind of tiptoe around a kid, and you're going to sleep or something like that. You got to be extra quiet. But, we managed to get through that time. Me and my wife, we got married since the last we spoke. Had a beautiful wedding. Casey was there. Our doggy Brooks was there. It was just a fantastic time. On the negative side, I don't know if you guys have heard, but Hollywood is not doing great. Things were a little bit weird coming out of COVID, obviously, as you would expect. But then we had dual actor and writer strikes. That was really tough. And yeah, I just, these last, year and a half specifically has been incredibly trying. And, I'm sure a lot of people have heard about the state of production here in Los Angeles, but yeah, it's been really tough, and it's been tough emotionally. It's been tough financially, mentally. The thing is, I came here with the dream, like, everyone does when they come to LA, and then you show up and things go really well. In 2019, I thought I had it all figured out, and I was just on the runway from here. And, we all know how it goes after that. So I was in a hole for a bit, didn't know what to say. I think that was a big thing. Like, obviously, during, labor strife like we had, I was completely in support of, the writers and the actors and getting everything that they can. But then, at the same time, you wonder, why there wasn't more of an emphasis put on, everyone getting back to the table by more parties and at hand. It just felt like people got used to not making movies, and it's continued on like that. It's been really tough for people here in LA, people doing film work in general. Just like, it has not been the same as it was before. And here's the thing. I don't quit. I came here, with the specific purpose of, a life in film. And I think I've been doing a very good job of everything that has come in front of me. I take on new challenges. I self-start, all that sort of stuff. But it definitely felt like, I think for a lot of people here in film, you got kind of kicked in the teeth a bit, and, you don't necessarily want people to see you when you're like that. So, there's a lot of thought all throughout this time away that I've been thinking about what kind of content I wanted to do, what I wanted to say about a new Hollywood moving forward, what I think my part could be in all of that going forward. And more than anything, I constantly thought about you guys here, the people who were watching me on the YouTube channel. I loved making the reviews. I had so much more, so many more ideas that I wanted to get into, and I just never did. And I don't know if this is just the ADHD in me or if this is other people as well, but sometimes you stop something and you say you're going to get back into it, and then you start going through all the like, well, these are all the things I have to fix before I start doing it again. And you know what? I'm kind of past that. I'm just sort of like, let's just do it, and like let's let's leave some Cory-sized holes in the wall on our way to wherever we're going to get eventually, shall we? And yeah, that's basically it. So I don't want to promise that every single week at the same exact time there is going to be a new piece of content from me, an overwhelming amount of content, because, I have a family, and I just got done with the feature, like I was telling you. And, that was basically 2.5 weeks worth of time where I didn't really sleep. I felt like I was either on set, or I was driving to set, or I was driving home from set, and I would get a little bit of time with my kid before she goes to bed, and then restart the whole process over again. And it's the job you sign up for. It's the long days. I'm so thankful that I was on this job because it was such an incredible experience, and I was so happy to play a part in this project. But at the same time, it would keep me from being able to make YouTube content. And some things have to take precedence over other things. My goal here, with all the things I'm about to unveil to you, is stuff that I would like to start banking, and having a little bit of like, oh, maybe I'm not available this week, so I'll throw this out there. But the most important part is that I couldn't do this any longer. I could not stay away from you. My desire to be part of the community, to speak to people about movies, and hopefully most of all to speak to people who are outside of what you think is a traditional movie place, and to let you know it's possible. And we're all gonna dig out of this hole together. So now that I've gotten through telling you about how there's not going to be a content onslaught, here's the content onslaught. I have a couple different things that I'm going to be doing. First of all, the movie reviews are coming back. And the first one will be up on the channel with this. So go check that out. I intend to do regular reviews, but it won't be for like every movie that I see. Just because I think that the benefit of doing reviews, at least from my perspective, like from where I'm coming from my viewpoint, I think that it is best served that I sort of talk about things that are important to people who are interested in film, from how to make a film, and not necessarily on seeing some movie that isn't very good and coming in here and flaming it, because that doesn't do anybody any good. And I don't want to be flaming people, especially if they don't deserve it. I'm not looking to flame people just for no good reason. But, I'm going to play around with the format a little bit, and we're going to sort of see what happens. But it's pretty much going to be exactly the same thing. The leaderboards will be back. The Fast and the Furious leaderboard will be back. And each episode will be both on YouTube and an audio-only version on the podcast feed. The next show that I'll be bringing to the channel is called The Commentary Track. And, it'll be just every so often we're going to drop an episode of that. This is bringing in different people from around the film industry, different crew positions, actors, directors, writers, and more importantly, the people who are in the credits and you're just like, what the hell's a best boy? Well, I'm going to bring in a best boy, and we're going to watch a movie, and we're going to talk about what it's like from their perspective. Like, where do you see the elements of hair and makeup or grip or, drone operator in these different movies, and we can talk about it in a way that will hopefully inform you about what all these incredible artists do. But, maybe also if you are interested in becoming a grip, you will learn learn what it is from one who does it. And I think that would be I'm just really excited for this show going forward. I've already started asking a whole bunch of incredible people to be a part, and I'm going to be bringing them in as I can. That is going to be on both the YouTube and the podcast, but on the YouTube, it'll be sort of like a supercut version to give you like the insight into, you know, the job and everything like that. It won't be so much about following the plot of the movie. If you want that, then the podcast version is going to be the full, complete audio version. And the way I kept thinking about it is like listening to a commentary track on a DVD. So, you know, a lot of times it's the director or the writer or a couple stars or whatever. But you never get a grip. So this would be a great opportunity to sort of like hear a movie broken down from a different perspective of somebody who does like a really important job that isn't talked about as much and isn't publicized as much. Along a similar vein, I'm also going to be doing a script breakdown. This is a show that is going to be me watching a movie and breaking down a script as I go along. This is a super important part of the process before you start a movie, is going through the script, marking it up, sort of talking about the things that you want to focus on, the things that you find are most important, and just sort of like, you know, from the perspective of you learn so much about movies from reading the script. So I'm going to have the script, we're going to go through it together, and I will show you all these things that I see along the way and how they translate into what the final product was on the screen. And similar to commentary track, a cut down version, like a supercut version, will be available here on the YouTube with the full length, you know, commentary style version on the podcast. The next show is called Roadshow. Obviously, it comes from the history of movie exhibition. The Roadshow is one that travels around the country and sort of takes the show to a new corner of the world every single week. And this will be for things that take me to a place or take you behind the scenes of something that maybe you haven't quite had the same sort of experience as somebody who, you know, works in the industry and then gets to do these, you know, like we all know what a red carpet looks like from the pictures that people take and the questions that people ask, but what does a red carpet look like behind the scenes? So yeah, that type of thing. The first one that I plan on shooting is coming up real soon here because I'm going to Las Vegas for the National Association of Broadcasters conference. And yeah, every year it is a great time. You get to see a lot of your friends from all over the place. You get to meet all the people who are inventing all this great gear and sort of get behind the scenes into the innovations and all that sort of stuff. So that, just as an example, the first one will probably be NAB. And yeah, there's so many times where film takes you to a place and I just don't feel like, you know, like it's captured that well. So I wanted to give you a little piece of that part of the experience. Finally, as far as the YouTube content goes, I am going a little bit off menu with this one, but I love baseball. I know if you've been watching this channel for any length of time, you've probably seen me with an Orioles hat or shirt or something like that along the way. But I am in progress of trying to see all the Major League Baseball parks, and I just think that it would be fun to take you guys along with me when I go to a new park. I have a scratch-off Major League Baseball stadium chart, which I can go through as well. This won't be a regular thing, but every once in a while I'm going to do in Hollywood it's famous you do one for them, one for you. This is kind of the one for me. Every once in a while I'm going to make a video about a baseball stadium. People who like it, please watch. People who don't, I won't get offended if you skip it. So yeah, but that one is called Out of Left Field because much like the content on the channel, and then these particular episodes, it's kind of out of left field. And then finally, I keep mentioning the podcast feed. You know, this doesn't relate to the YouTube channel, but I will be getting more into the podcast feed. Obviously, there's going to be the movie reviews and the feature-length versions of the commentary track and the script breakdown shows, but I also plan on doing like specialty stuff for just the podcast, sort of standalone episodes and stuff. And for the first couple, I probably will do them as a YouTube video as well, just to sort of get a sense for like, you know, what works, what people like. So check that out. And if anyone has anything specifically that they love from the podcast feed other than what I've already gone through, I'm still percolating on that one. So it'll be a little bit, but the renamed Cory Baker Show podcast feed on YouTube will be the place for all of that. So in conclusion, I just want to let everyone know how grateful I am to everyone who watches these videos, who listens to the podcast, whatever, or however you may come across me, I'm thankful that you did. I really missed making videos. I for so long, I was constantly making things. I was doing a podcast. I was making the short films. I was doing this and that and the other. And I feel like just sort of here in the last 2 years, as Hollywood has slowed down, so has my output, my production. And I just didn't want to do it any longer. And I missed you guys. I missed everybody who comments and says nice things and who gives their takes on movies that I've seen. And I just want to do so much more for y'all, because I remember what it was like when I was in Baltimore, and, you know, working in Hollywood sounded like, you know, becoming the, you know, point guard for the Knicks or something. It's just like, yeah, how do you get to do that? You know, like, it just seems so impossible. And even though we're in a time of craziness and uncertainty, I can't die on my knees. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to be me. I'm going to do my best to try and show you all a different aspect of the film industry. And if you have anything for me, please, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. You can find me on social media as well at LegendCB5 on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, and Cory Baker Film on Facebook, and the website's almost done, so there's lots of stuff. But thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you here next time.